Okay, good morning, everybody. So this morning we'll do, this is called a Good Morning Sequence. It's a pranayama sequence that we'll start with. So this was taught to me by my teacher, Jonna Smith, who learned this from Dr. Ladd. He's an Ayurvedic doctor. So this pranayama practice is, the whole purpose of it is to find more balance and harmony from within. And we'll move through a series of pranayama practices. So we start with Bhastrika pranayama, which is bellows breath. We'll move into Kapalabhati, which is skull shining breath. 2 variations of Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, move into Brahmori, B-sounding breath, and then finish with Shitali, which is a cooling pranayama. So a little quick introduction to each of these, just so you can, when you practice, you can be in more of a meditative state rather than thinking, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What is she saying? So this Bhastrika breath that we'll start with, this is a very energizing breath. It brings a lot of oxygen to the body. And so think about it, you know, like those little bellows for the fire that you make, like this. This is basically what we're doing with our lungs. So this will also help to improve lung capacity. So the technique for this is a forceful inhalation and a forceful exhalation. I will say sometimes this can be kind of intense. You might feel a lot of sensation. That is very normal. Obviously, you want to make sure that it feels okay for you, right? So part of pranayama is learning to expand our limitations, but at the same time doing it in a way that feels safe for us, if that makes sense. So I'll do the techniques in a second. And then Kapalabhati, so this is that skull shining breath that we've done a couple times already. And this means literally, so skull shining, it brings this vibrancy to your face. It's more purifying and detoxifying, also very energetic as well. And it's more of a heating pranayama, energizing. I think I already said that. So the inhalation is passive, which means it just happens naturally. And then the exhalation is forceful. So that's that abdominal pumps that we're doing. And then when we move into Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So this is more about, again, balance and harmony. We call this a neutral pranayama, which means you can really do it at any time of the day. So for that Nadi Shodhana, we're balancing the right and the left side, the masculine and the feminine. What else? Yeah, the sun and the moon. So just thinking about, again, more harmony, more balance. It can really calm the mind. It's great for anxiety and any type of just stress as well. It's a really great one to do before bed too. And then that Brahmori, so that B-sounding breath. So what we do for this is it's a humming sound. So as we have that longer exhalation, it moves us into that parasympathetic nervous system of that state of rest and digest. Also, that humming stimulates the vagus nerve, which can also bring more of a calming effect. It's really a meditative practice as well. So if you were to ever have your own meditation practice, this Brahmori is a great one to do right before because it preps the mind for meditation. We also call it part of pratyahara, which is sense withdrawal. So part of this mudra that we do of covering the face is this idea of blocking off all 5 senses to really move inward to experience ourselves. And you'll hear this humming sound, which can be very calming, very relaxing. And then that Shitali, that cooling pranayama, typically in colder climates, you won't really do this or do a lot of it. So we'll probably just do a couple rounds of this. And yeah, just more cooling. This can be great too if anyone takes like hot yoga classes and you get overheated at any point, or even if you're in the dead of summer and you're really hot, like you can literally do this pranayama practice to cool the body down and calm the mind as well. So the techniques for this, so this Bhastrika, and I'll have you guys try a couple. So again, it's a forceful inhale and a forceful exhale. So kind of similar to Kapalabhati, but just accessing the breath in a different way. So it's gonna sound like this, and sometimes it's nice to have tissues, so I should have brought that, so sorry if it's normal if some stuff comes out, let me just say that. So it's gonna look like this. So forceful inhale, forceful exhale. And again, you want that pumping of the belly, but it's a lot slower than the Kapalabhati. So if you guys want to try a couple rounds just to kind of feel the technique, you can go ahead and set up nice and tall. And then just try like 3 rounds. So think forceful inhale, forceful exhale, just 3 times. You can close your eyes or keep them open. And even if you pause for a second, you might even notice like a little tingling, a little lightheadedness. So that's one of the reasons we want to pause and just observe and notice. Any questions on that technique? Okay, so for that, we'll do about 10 rounds and we'll do it 2 times. And then this, we won't stop in between any of this, so I'll just kind of guide you through the whole practice. So Kapalabhati is that forceful inhale and forceful exhale. I know we've done this a few times. We'll probably do maybe build up 30, 60, 90, but we're gonna kind of see, I'm gonna see if I can still hear people's breath as we go through. One thing I will say, so if you feel like you're running out of breath, just take a deep inhale and start over the same way we begin. Another thing to be aware of is sometimes like as we lose breath, we start to kind of do this type of stuff and round over. Again, normal, just try to sit up as tall as you can and have as much space as you can. So again, we can do a couple rounds just to kind of remind yourself. You can do the hands on the belly or by your side. But again, so passive inhale, but together, let's just do like 5 to 10. So take a full inhale, tiny exhale, and find a few pumps. Good, and trying to feel the abdominal muscles move with that. So as you're pumping, you're also getting this like really the stale energy and oxygen out so we can create space for new fresh energy to come. Questions on that one? Okay, fantastic. So, Nadi Shodhana, that alternate nostril breathing. So the two variations we do, the first one is a masculine version. I don't really like this one, but also part of yoga is we have to do the things we don't like to, right? We can't just do, and in life also, right? Can't only do the things that we like. So this masculine version, it's a little bit more forceful, which is why it doesn't feel so nice. But we've done Nadi Shodhana so far, right? I believe so, yeah. So rather than like that really soft Nadi Shodhana that we do, that feminine version, which is really like the sweetness of the breath, it's gonna sound something like this, and it'll be a little faster than the other version. So it'll be, we'll do that a few rounds. So think of it kind of like that Bhastrika, that forcefulness, but we're just blocking off each side to just stimulate the left and the right as we go back and forth. And then we'll pause in between those and then do that really nice version that'll feel a little more, just calming, relaxing, more of that feminine energy. Does anybody need a reminder of that one? So it's really the same thing we did. Just think, we want to try to think like 6 count inhales and 6 count exhales the best you can. So it'll be something like this. Okay. That's one round when you start and end on the left. So again, best you can, 6 count inhales and exhales. The last thing I recommend with that is just think slow and steady, right? Again, it's like if you're going out for that race and you go way too fast in the beginning and you lose all your steam, it really can be the same with the breath. So just think really nice, easy inhales and really nice, easy exhales, right? Because if we go too fast, we're gonna lose steam on the other side and then feel like we're continually trying to catch our breath here. Okay, so Brahmori, again, this is a really nice one. Also, if anyone has kids at home, this is like a great practice to teach kids too. It's really fun for them. So for this one, we do what we call Shanmukhi Mudra. So I'll show you in a second, or you'll do it in a second, but you'll literally take your thumbs and close your ears. So you wanna not be able to hear anything, don't do it quite yet. And then you'll spread your fingers wide and just kind of softly bring them over the face. So again, it's really the symbolization of shutting out the outside world so we can move inward. And then we'll inhale and you'll exhale as long as you can. So it just sounds like this humming. When you do it, you literally sound like a little baby bee. So it's really nice, but I'll just give you one example. So again, I'll close my ears, take an inhale, and I'll hum on the exhale. And then to start over, I would take an inhale and do that again. So if you want to try one, again, you'll sit up nice and tall, use the thumbs to close the ears, gently cover the face. You'll take an inhale when you're ready, and then just take a nice, easy hum on the exhale. Awesome. And we'll do about 5 rounds of that. And whenever you're done with the technique on your own, you'll kind of just sit and again try to find that stillness. Questions? That one's pretty self-explanatory. Awesome. All right, last one that we'll do. So this Shitali Pranayama, so cooling pranayama. So if anyone can't curl their tongue, so technically we want to do This. If you cannot, you can flip the tongue back and bite the tip of it. Okay, the other version is shitkari, which is through the teeth. If you have sensitive teeth, it's not so nice. Like I don't like it, and I don't really ever teach it, but it's kind of another alternative if you can't curl your tongue. Can anyone not curl their tongue? Okay, awesome. Yeah, perfect. So you'll bite the tip of it like that. So I'll show you again. So we inhale through the curled tongue and then exhale through the nose for this one. So it'll look like this. And that's about one round. And then one other thing you can one other thing you can add into this is a little bit of movement, kind of like a cat and the cow. So as we do this, we would inhale to come up and then find that inhale through the tongue. And as you exhale, curl back, bring the chin towards the chest. So my teacher kind of calls this like being a little baby bird, asking Mama Nature for any nourishment that you haven't gotten, right? Like as the little baby birds do this to their mom, kind of think about doing this to Mama Nature. So anything that you feel like you didn't get nourishment in the other parts of the pranayama practice, you're asking for that here. So, and I think that movement feels nice, especially when you haven't moved your body yet and you've been sitting for a little while. So if you guys want to take just like 2 rounds or so, just again to have that technique so it's not as, what am I doing when we're practicing it? So either curl the tongue or bite the tip of it. And go ahead and you'll inhale when you're ready. And close the mouth, exhale when you're ready. And that's one round, and then you would start over again on the inhale. And exhale, chin towards the chest, around the spine. And again, about 5 rounds on your own, and we'll come back to stillness. Awesome. All right, so this is that full pranayama practice that we'll do. So we'll start to add all of these in together. And yeah,